What's going on, people? And finally back. Hope you're all doing well. It's been a while. Football season's not too far away now, so yeah, I wanted to get back into the swing of it with some videos, and we're going to start off today with the 2025/26 home kits for the new Premier League season. And before I start as well, the only one that hasn't been released is Fulham's, so I'm just going with a blank sort of template for their one. But other than that, all the others have been put out. I'm going to try and do an away and a third one of these ranks as well, if they all get released in good enough time before the season starts, because obviously there'll be a lot more videos to do regarding fixtures and things like that. In at number 20 then, I'm going to go 20 down to 1 in that order. In at number 20, I'm going with the Chelsea home kit. I haven't been a fan of their kits like consistently through the years recently. But I do think last season's, I wasn't a massive fan of it, but I think it's better than this. The main thing that I don't like about this is the collar, and also just the weird sort of textures and patterns throughout the shirt. I think the white works nicely with the blue. I don't really like the red bit on the collar though. And I don't like the fact of that, whatever they're going for with that sort of pattern throughout the shirt. So yeah, disappointing one for me, because they have put some nice ones out in the past, but 20th Chelsea for me. In at number 19, a club that I don't really feel like they switch it up enough in terms of really changing their designs for any of their kits really, but more specifically the home ones, and that is the Tottenham Hotspur one. Obviously they've gone with that dark navy again. Lettering on it for the sponsor though is far too big. I quite like the fact of the centre crest with the Nike and the Tottenham badge, but I think the lettering for the sponsor is way too big, and there's just not enough like thought gone into it. I feel like it's just a bit bland and a bit simple. So Tottenham Hotspur in at number 19. In at number 18, I've gone with West Ham. I quite liked their kit last season. There has been a few shockers in recent years, but last season's wasn't too bad. And this one, I'm just... the neck bit's okay, but I don't like the sponsor. Sponsor's a big part of the shirt for me. I like the Umbro, the fact that they're still with Umbro. The badge is okay, but I prefer their old badge. And yeah, there's a lot of claret on it and really not enough blue for me, really. It's just a bit simple, a bit plain. I think that they could have done a lot better with it, especially with the collar. I think the collar's pretty cool, but yeah, other than that, it just seems like it was a bit of not a lot of thought put into it. So West Ham in at number 18. In at number 17 is Brighton, and I was quite surprised because I've liked a lot of their kits since they've come up. The thing that I don't like about this one is, first of all, is the Nike tick. It's like a weird kind of baby blue, like powder blue on the Nike tick, which I don't like. It doesn't sort of blend with the rest of the blue on the shirt. And the fact that the stripes aren't solid through the shirt and they get broken up in the middle with a sponsor, I just think it makes it look a bit sloppy. It doesn't make it as fluid and nice, in my opinion. I think it looks better when it's a full stripe, and yeah, I just feel like that whole section in the middle really ruins it. So it's a shame, because I do like Brighton kits, but this one, I feel like they got the design on it all wrong. So Brighton in at number 17. At number 16 is Burnley. I feel like the colours are okay, but the collar's a bit boring. The Castore is okay, but the Burnley badge itself is okay, but I don't like the sponsor. It's far too big, and I really don't like the patterns on the shirt either. It just looks lazy and sloppy. Don't like it. The design of it lets it down for me. So Burnley in at 16. In at number 15, I've gone with Everton. The thing that I don't like about this one is these weird like wave lines across the shirt. I think it'd look better if it was just a solid blue, with the white stake sponsor, the Castore, and then the Everton badge with the collar. I like the collar on it. You got that white strip on the top of the navy, but I feel like it would look better without them weird wavy lines across it. So I like the fact they've tried to go something a bit different. At least they've switched it up a bit more, but you always run the risk with that it doesn't work. So yeah, it doesn't work for me. Could have been better, but it's not the worst. Everton 15. In at number 14, I've gone with Wolves. I've liked some of their kits quite a lot over the last few years. I think the sponsor's okay, slightly big again for me, but it's okay. I don't like the collar on this. I feel like the design is lazy. Something about it that I just don't like compared to their most recent ones in previous seasons. So yeah, I feel like the black and the yellow is always... It blends quite well with a badge, especially for the Wolves badge, but the rest of it I just think is a bit lazy. Don't like the collar on it as well. Yeah, bit of a shame really. But Wolves in at 14th. At number 13, I've gone with Bournemouth. Now, they have switched up a bit more because they've gone with more of like it looks like a gold. The sponsor's obviously gold with the trim around the badge and the Umbro badge as well. So it blends in well with the balance of the colours. I do prefer their shirts when they're thinner and more frequent stripes on it. But I like the fact that they've switched it up a bit compared to last year. It could have been worse, could have been better, but it's an okay shirt. But I do prefer it when it's more skinnier and more frequent stripes. But the sponsor's a bit big again for me. That's one of my bugs. That's one of my kind of pet peeves, if you will. But other than that, it's okay, but nothing special. Bournemouth in at number 13. In at number 12, I've gone with Liverpool. Bit of a shocker because Liverpool usually put out all three reasonably nice kits. And this isn't terrible, but it's really not up to standards with other home kits I've seen. I really feel like that white trim around like the shoulders and that just makes it look sloppy and like rushed and kind of basic and amateur. So I feel like the standard charter, again, it's a little bit big. The Adidas logo itself for me is far too big, and the Liverpool badge could be smaller, but I feel like you get away with that more. But I don't like these strips of white around the kind of pecs and the shoulders. If they hadn't have gone with that, it'd have been a bit better of a shirt, but not a fan of that. I just feel like it looks a bit all over the place, this one. So Liverpool number 12. In at number 11, I've gone with Brentford. I wasn't sure when I first saw it. I felt like I really didn't like it at first, but I like the fact that they've gone a bit more white on this one. Joma sponsor, kind of that old school vibe. I like these sort of swirly wave lines on this one. On the Everton one, I didn't like it. This one's done a bit differently and I think it works. I think the black looks nice with the white and the red. I feel like they've just got the balance of the shirt right. I feel like the sponsor's a better size as well and it fits into the shirt better. The collar's a bit different. I'm not a massive fan of it, but it's not the worst either. I think it's a pretty decent effort, and I like the fact that they've gone a bit more white on it this season as well. So Brentford in at number 11. In at number 10, I've gone with Manchester City. When I first saw it, I was a little bit like, ooh, that's very different. It's grown on me a bit. Sash kind of works. It's not like a full solid sash, but I think it works in how they've done it. Kind of does look like someone's just gone with a paintbrush though and gone across the shirt with it. Not a massive fan of like how Puma shirts look, but I feel like this one is better than last season's, in my opinion. White on the sleeves, on the cuffs, go well with that sash across the front of the shirt. The sponsor that he had is, I think the size of it is spot on, really. I'm not a massive fan of it, but I think it's better than last year's. So, Man City in at number 10. In at number 9, I've gone with Nottingham Forest. Not sure what to make of the badge with this sort of shield around it now. I don't feel like I'm a massive fan of it. I'd probably prefer it if it was just a normal Forest badge without the shield around it. Quite like it other than the Adidas stripes. I feel like maybe they could have put that in between the stripes instead of that line going through it. I think that looks a bit weird, but other than that, I think it's a pretty smart shirt. I quite like the added effect of the white stripes. It's just the placement of them going through the Adidas and even the badge a little bit, because it kind of makes it look like it's floating a bit. So, but yeah, other than that, it's quite nice. Really like the collar on this as well, more old school with the button up. Pretty good effort. Nottingham Forest in at number 9. In at number 8, I've gone with Crystal Palace. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this one, but I actually quite like it because I feel like it's quite different to last season's. They've added like more stripes. There's a bit more white on it. I think the sponsor's a bit big, if I'm being honest. If it was a bit smaller, I think it'd look even better. The Palace badge within the stripes on this one works well and it stands out on that blue background. I think it's a pretty smart shirt overall. I like the fact that they've switched it up a bit and gone different from last year and not played it safe. I like how the collar looks and matches up with the sleeves. Yeah, not a massive fan of that sponsor and the size of it, but other than that, I quite like it. It's very different, but I'm for it. Crystal Palace in at number 8. In at number 7, I've gone with Aston Villa. I'm not a massive fan of how dark that burgundy is, but I feel like the lighter blue on it makes it more palatable and makes it work a bit better. The sponsor itself's fine for me. It could be slightly smaller, but it's pretty good. The Adidas, I think, stands out well on that really dark burgundy, as does the badge, but I just feel like I'm not a massive fan of that dark, how dark that is on the burgundy. But other than that, I think it's a smart shirt. Don't really like the little patterns on the sleeve cuffs there. I do like the sort of template of the shirt and the Adidas stripes on the shoulders and everything. And even that trim sort of going down the shirt is not too bad. I think it'd have been better if it was maybe in white or even that lighter blue. Pretty good, could have been better, but yeah, it's not terrible. And at number 6 might be controversial because I usually have them higher up than this, and a lot of people have them as their number ones most years, and that is Arsenal. I just feel like it's not different enough from last season. I do quite like the fact of the capital A pattern throughout the shirt. I think that's a nice touch and brings that old school vibe to it a bit. The Emirates logo is okay, but it's a little bit big again for me. The Adidas logo I think works well, as does the badge, but the sleeves and that look fine, but I think the collar's a bit sloppy, a bit lazy, could be better. Not a massive fan of that. And for me, it's just not enough of a switch up. I want them to explore a bit more and be a bit more adventurous with their home kits sometimes. And while it's smart and certainly not a terrible bad kit, it could have been higher if they'd have took a chance a bit more, I think. So Arsenal, okay, could have been better, in at number 6. In at number 5 is Fulham. Obviously, they haven't released their home kit yet. I've seen like a prototype and what they think it might look like, but I didn't want to put that in the video if it's not going to be anything like that. So I've just gone with a footy headline one that they've got, kind of just a basic template. Hard to sort of know where to put this, but I kind of went on last season's kit because we don't know what the new one looks like yet. So a mixture of last season's in with this template I've got here. I think Fulham generally have nice kits. I really like last season's, and if they can manage this template well and it looks something near to this, I think it works. There's not a lot of detail and patterns and things, but I think the simplicity of it and the colours is traditional and I like it. So that's why it's so well placed on this list. In at number 5. In at number 4, I've gone with Leeds. I really like the fact of the yellow and the blue on the collar on this, and the fact that they've matched it up on the cuffs on the sleeves. The Leeds badge kept it old school. I like it, and the colours again, it blends and matches up nicely. The Adidas in the blue again gives it that balance. The Red Bull logo, I know a lot of people are a fan of it. I'm not, but I feel like it works on this shirt. But I think if they had have added blue and yellow in the sponsor, being a different sponsor, I feel like it would have even topped it up even more. Could possibly have been my number 1 shirt. But not a massive fan of the sponsor. But other than that, I really like the design of the shirt. They've kept it simple. Took it a bit more old school with the colour scheme as well. Really like it. And yeah, really good effort from Leeds. In at number 4. In at number 3, I've gone with Manchester United. I'm not a massive fan of our sponsor, but I think it works. I think the sizing of it is pretty good. I like the white Adidas logo on the red. I think it works well and blends. The United badge, for me, I mean, on this picture, it's on this image, it looks slightly big to me, but I think it works well enough. I quite like how the cuffs look on the sleeves, with that black and white trim on it, and then that black trim through the shirt, going up to the neck, I really like. And then they've got the Adidas in black over the shoulder bits as well. I like how the collar looks. It could be better if it had have sort of gone more down as like this sort of style. It kind of has like a really narrow, shallow sort of V to it, which could have been better. But other than that, I think it's quite a smart kit. Could have been better, but it could have been worse. In at number 3, Manchester United. In at number 2, number 2 and number 1, it took me a little while to decide because I didn't feel like there was a lot in it. But number 2, I've gone with Newcastle United's effort. What I really like about this is they've kept it traditional with the black and white stripes, but I really like that kind of, I don't know if you'd call it like electric blue, but that whatever tone of blue that is, I think it really makes it stand out and pop more, especially with the black, like it makes it stand out more. The seller sponsor is a bit big for me, but again, I feel like the Adidas logo could have been placed, if it had been placed on the white stripe bit, I think it would have looked even better. It looks a little bit sloppy on like halfway between the stripes, but I think it works enough. As with the Newcastle badge, if they'd have put that on the white stripe as well, I think it would have balanced it out a bit better, but I still really like it. Like how the collar looks with the sleeves. Not a terrible effort at all. Could have been my number 1, but Newcastle United in at number 2. And then number 1, I've gone with Sunderland. Newly promoted. They were in the Premiership a lot when I was growing up, so I have that nostalgia with them. But I just really like the design of this. They've got this kind of, it's almost like a rope type technique and image on the stripes, which is different than just going a normal stripe template, which is creative and I like it. It looks like someone sketched it, but it makes it look a little bit cartoony, but I think it looks really nice. I like how the badge looks. I think it blends in even on the red stripe background as it is on here. The Hummel on the black with the white, on that red background of the stripes as well, really pops for me. The badges on the sleeves work well. The sponsor is a little bit big again on the middle, but that's the only kind of thing I could put down on it, to be honest. Really like how the Hummel stripe, the Hummel logo up here looks on the sleeves. Higher up, I really like. The collar bits, I prefer these types of collars, but I quite like this one. It's more of a tighter fitting one, but I think it blends in well with the colours and the design of the shirt. And I really like how they did these stripes on this with that kind of, it's like a thick rope almost is how I'd describe it. But very detailed, lots of different colours going on, but they've kept it traditional to Sunderland and their colour scheme, and it matches up well with the badge as well. So great effort from Sunderland. I'm happy to see them back into the Premier League. I was rooting for them in the playoff final as well, because I do have that more nostalgia with them growing up watching Premier League years and seasons when I was younger. So Kevin Phillips, Niall Quinn, yeah, nostalgia hit on this one, but I just think they did the best in terms of design, colour. The sponsor could have been better, but other than that, I think this is pretty flawless, this shirt. So great effort, well done to Sunderland. And is it for my Premier League home kits for 2025/26. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said, I'm going to try and do the aways and the third kits if they all get released in good enough time before the season starts. If you don't see me before that, I will be back with Premier League predictions. Try and think of some different sort of content maybe this year as well for but football related still. But we'll wait and see. Have a good one. In a bit.